Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to you, and thank you for being here to share in this funeral service for Eileen. Your presence here today, your kind words and support is much appreciated by her family at such a difficult time. We come together today not only to mourn her passing, but to celebrate her life and give thanks for that life and all that she's meant to us. My name is Danny McAuliffe. I'm a funeral celebrant, and in conjunction with the staff from Southern Cross Funerals, it's an honour for me to lead this service today. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we begin. If you have mobile phones, would you please check they're switched off or in silent mode, thank you. And following our service, you're invited to share some refreshments together at the cafe here at Springvale, which is just a short walk down the roadway to my right, to your left. When I say a short walk, if you prefer to go down in your cars, there is parking down there as well. We are never really prepared for the death of someone close to us, someone dear to us, and it can be so difficult to say goodbye to someone who has always been there. Today we will say goodbye and slowly move on with our lives, with warm memories of Eileen. In saying that, peace and acceptance may take their time. This service is an opportunity to pay our respects and to acknowledge the life that Eileen has lived. It's also a time to reflect upon our relationship with her and perhaps to remember the good times shared over the years. You have gathered here in remembrance of a person who has touched your lives in one way or another, whether it be as a family member, a loved one, a friend. As human beings, we're creatures of habit, and we're accustomed to a certain order of things in our lives, the activities, the routines that fill our days, but most importantly, the people in our lives. And when you change that order, when we lose someone close to us, it rocks our world somewhat. It gives us cause to consider, to ponder the meaning of life, the meaning of death, and perhaps what is really important to us in this world. Time helps. Time can be a friend, a healer, and does slowly help in restoring an order to our lives, albeit a changed order. Eileen won't be there, but the memories will always be there. Sometimes said that the pain we feel in losing a loved one is commensurate or equal to the love we have for that person. So if we love someone deeply, we'll grieve deeply. It's a natural thing. Someone who was part of our life is no longer there. But the memories will always be there, and these are ours to cherish into the future. As we are aware, funerals are to honour the lives of the dead. That's why we're here today. But I think they also serve an important purpose in helping us, the living, come to terms with what's happened, and perhaps giving us a point of reference from which we can move on, tomorrow being the first day of the rest of our lives, with our memories. We perhaps need to feel that we've done our best to say goodbye to someone, and that things are in their right place in that sense. I hope today's service will provide a little comfort to you, Eileen's family and friends, and help in that difficult process of moving forward, which I'm sure would have been her wish for you all. As most of you would know, Eileen was a keen gardener throughout her life, loved her time spent in the garden, and the following poem was a favourite. No more beauteous things can man devise by art or earnest toil than the triumph of the soil. Give me the spark of nature's fire, that's all the learning I desire. Only a short reading, but meaningful. And it meant a lot to Eileen. Well, it's difficult in the time we have here this morning to cover someone's lifetime, to tell their story. But I would like to take you through an outline of Eileen's life and hopefully paint a picture. Eileen's story began on the 27th of August 1931 when she was born to Roth and Evelyn Hetherington. She was one of 4 children with brothers Roth, Ian and Brian. Both Roth and Ian have predeceased Eileen, and Brian is with us today here. Her father worked hard to support the family, working as a projectionist, journalist and advertising sales rep, and was involved in many community activities. Roth became the mayor of Springvale. Evelyn, like most of the women of that generation, would have been busy with home duties, raising 4 children and keeping house. The important job, some of the ladies might feel. In those early years, the family lived in the Oakley and Noble Park areas, and the children attended primary school and then went on to Dandenong High School for their secondary education. Eileen left school after completing her intermediate certificate and went to work at Foy and Gibson's, which I believe was a company based in Paran. In time, Eileen met and married Albert Victor Barker, and in January 1954, son Rodney entered the world. The family lived in Noble Park, where Eileen worked as a shop assistant, and she also took up factory work in Oakley, making and packing twisties and cheesels, working her way up to become a supervisor there. It was at this job that she met Dot Yates, who became a lifelong friend. And I believe Dot is here today with us as well. A sad day, Dot. Eileen was not one to take holidays, really. She had the hard work ethic. She was a hard worker, and she enjoyed her home life, did her best raising her son and looking after the home. As we know, she was a keen gardener, a lifelong interest she maintained. Once, after pruning the 140 or so roses at their Noble Park home, she said to Rodney, "You can put in my funeral notice, no roses by request." Take it Eileen had a dry sense of humour at times as well. She loved her dogs, always had fox terriers. No doubt they were spoiled. Sport was another of Eileen's loves, and she was a keen tennis player. She also took up golf, successfully winning many trophies and prizes, even scoring a hole-in-one at the Dandenong course. In time, Eileen retired to McMahon's Creek near Warburton, where she continued to play golf and took up lawn bowls. She had the community spirit inherited from her father and joined the local CFA there as a volunteer. In 1984, her family grew with the birth of her grandson, Tim. The years catch up. And about 7 years or so ago, Eileen moved to Lexington Gardens Retirement Village in Springvale, where she was able to keep up her interests, her bowls, and of course her gardening. And she would not only look after her own garden, but would help the other residents with theirs, making many friends in the process. Croquet was another interest of Eileen's during those years. She enjoyed doing crosswords to pass the time and listening to talkback on the radio rather than the music stations. And I would hazard a guess that Bruce and Phil on 3AW in the evenings may have entertained Eileen. She did like music from the 20s and the 30s and the 40s eras, classical and light operettas. In time, Eileen's failing health led her to moving to the nursing home at Lexington Gardens in 2012, and the family wished to pass on their grateful thanks to the staff there for their care and support of Eileen. Eileen passed away peacefully last Saturday and will be sadly missed. You'll have your own Eileen memories, so we might take a few moments now, a little bit of time out, to reflect on her life and all that she meant to us. And as we do this, we're going to listen to Amazing Grace. The following reading is entitled Memories of the Heart. Feel no guilt in laughter, she'd know how much you care. Feel no sorrow in a smile that she is not here to share. You cannot grieve forever, she would not want you to. She'd hope that you could carry on the way you always do. So talk about the good times and the way you showed you cared, the days you spent together, all the happiness you shared. Let memories surround you. A word someone may say will suddenly recapture a time, an hour, a day that brings her back as clearly as though she was still here and fills you with the feeling that she is always near. For if you keep those moments, you will never be apart, and she will live forever, locked safely within your heart. Eileen was much loved by her family and friends and will be sadly missed. And you'll have your own personal Eileen memories, and I encourage you to hold on to them dearly. For no matter what you believe, whether to you death is the end or the beginning of yet another journey, Eileen's memory will always be with you. Nothing can take that away. And it's the memories we leave behind with our family and friends that are a mark of our life's success. Eileen's spirit will live on through her family and those values passed down, those traditional old school values. It's sometimes said that when an older person passes away, in cricket terms, they had a good innings. And philosophically, that may be true. But perhaps it's not the number of years we live, but how we live our years. And most people who live to over the age of 80 would have experienced some ups and downs and some bumps in the road of life. I would hope for the most part Eileen's life has been fulfilling and enjoyable. Saying goodbye today, we may shed a tear, we might smile a smile, we might even have a laugh, remembering the good times. A balance of things. And that balance should continue into the future. Sadness that she's no longer here to enjoy those things that she loved and to see her family as they grow further. But we can take comfort in the memories we have, acknowledging that she used her time on this earth, made her mark, cared for her family, and lived a good life. A life filled with a variety of experiences and genuine love. I think Eileen would have wanted the best for you all here today and would have felt that you should move on with your lives, remembering the past, but also looking forward to the future. Once again, thank you all for being here and for sharing in this service, and just a reminder that you are welcome if you are able to stay for a cuppa. The chapter of life for Eileen has now concluded. She leaves behind that legacy of memories, and that is everlasting. Today we have paid our respects and acknowledged her life. And so we can say we're glad that we shared in that life, that we saw her face, felt her touch, heard her laughter, and knew those things that were uniquely Eileen. Excuse me. The time now comes for us to say our final goodbyes. With reverence and gratitude for her life lived, we commit the body of Eileen May Barker to the elements. With love and respect, we bid her farewell. Her memory will remain with us always. Just excuse me a moment. And I'd now like to bring our service to a close with the Irish blessing. Eileen, may the road rise up to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face. The rains fall softly on your fields. And until we meet again, may you rest in a place of deep peace. Ladies and gentlemen, could I ask you to stand, please, for our final music.